Today, I'd like to do some caving to look for a notch apple as a backdrop to talk about UHC and Vanilla Swirl CTM. Welcome back to Exploration and Tactics with Brian. And last time we managed to get the elytra wings, and I neglected to actually put them on and use them. And so I think that to start off today's episode, it could be fun to do. I'm actually kind of glad I didn't try to use them in the previous episode, because I did not realize how many bugs there are with how they work and how they deploy. If you teleport different places or change dimensions, oftentimes they just quit working until you restart Minecraft. But when you are wearing the wings, you ought to be able to jump off of a high place, and then press the space bar, and glide and fly. And you can hear there's like a whooshing noise as I do it. And so that's what they are like. It's actually really awesome. And it's also really cool to see, I think, in F5 mode. And so, oops. I'm going to jump off the top up here and do it again in F5 mode also, because I don't think I've seen it in F5 mode. Apparently, I don't think I realized this, although it makes sense since you can wear all the other heads. Someone said you can wear the dragon head, like as a helmet, and so that's something else I want to check out. And then finally, I want to check out eating some chorus fruit, but then we'll move on to the meat of today's episode. Okay, so in F5 mode, let's do it from here. Where's my mouse? Yikes. All right, there's a tree behind me, so the camera angle is weird, but if I go... Oh, ouch! The camera was pointed downward, and so I just went splat right on the ground. Let's try that one more time, shall we? Oh my goodness. I see a lot of other people in their videos utilize F5 mode a lot. I do not usually do that, and so I have no practice with it. Let's go ahead... I'm not going to die of hunger or fall damage or anything just yet. Okay, I'm looking horizontally. I'm in F5 mode, and so if I do this... There we go. Oh, and it's kind of like reversing the angle of up versus down and whatever. Okay. You can see what it's like to glide with the elytra wings, and it's pretty cool. So that is one thing I wanted to show off. The other thing is when you eat chorus fruit, it's both a food that can restore some hunger, and I don't know how much it restores offhand. I currently have 4 meatsicles or whatever out of 10, and so if I eat one of these, apparently it gives you 2, and so it just gave me 2 bits of hunger back. And furthermore, it teleports you, kind of like an Enderman, randomly to some nearby distance that also could be a different vertical distance. And so I'm not sure the best way to show that off. I actually wonder if I'm inside here, if it might teleport me outside this room back down. And so I just want to try eating another couple of chorus fruits and see where I get teleported to. But for example, if I'm over here, could it possibly teleport me back down to the surface below? Yes! Okay, so I just ended up down here. Now let's just eat another random one. I see, now I'm down the caves down here. So, Enderman teleports. I think it might be somewhere within a 32 block radius. I don't know the exact specifications of that. But that's what chorus fruits do. They're actually pretty cool. And finally, the dragon's head. I guess, did I leave that in my ender chest? It's the only other place I can think that I would have put it. Ah, that's right. I had an extra chest over here. Here's the dragon head. And so, can I wear this as a helmet? This helmet is just about dead, by the way. Yes! Rawr, rawr, rawr. Oh, neat! The mouth opens and closes as you walk around with it, too. That's pretty funny. Nice. Alright, so that's the dragon's head. A silly little new decorative item. I'm pretty sure I have another good helmet, and I think I'll put away the elytra and put back on a good chest plate to go caving. And so let me get some caving materials together, and then we will go cave and chat. Actually, I still have all these levels. I don't feel like standing around in order to just enchant a bunch of things, but I could repair 2 Protection 3 helmets into a Protection 4 helmet. So I think I'll do that, and similarly, I could repair a Protection 3 chestplate and a Protection 3 chestplate into a Protection 4 chestplate. So I don't mind spending some levels to do that, and now I've got like all repaired up armor, and so that makes me happy. Things have been unsuccessful so far. I'm actually now on the other side of the base, over on the swamp side, and it looks like there's a big cave down here. So maybe I'll have a little bit better luck this time with some of the caves here actually going somewhere. But in any case, I wanted to talk about Mindcrack UHC. I participated in Season 23, which, if you haven't watched it, and if you have any interest in UHC or PvP games, look, there's horses in here. This horse looks like when he grows up, he's going to suffocate in the wall if he's not careful. Is this cave really not going to go anywhere? Surely there's somewhere else for this cave to go. I just looked down there. Right, they're still down here. I remember thinking it looked like it. I peeked my head in it. It looked promising. So I have played Mindcrack UHC once before. I don't remember what season number it was, but I was invited to one a long time back. And it was also a teams of 3 game that time. But I ended up on a team with Bitsy and Milvy, who were 2 guys who I really didn't know all that well going in. And so that made things a little tougher that time. And we also... Alright, I hear a bunch of monsters in this direction, so let's go in this direction. This time I also remembered to take the ender chest, which is something that I forgot to take the first time around. I have the ender chest and the silk touch pick now on me. So if we do find lots of loot, we should be good. But yeah, and that other... Oh, it's a dungeon. Awesome. I was like, I heard a bunch of zombies. Alright, that was super lucky to get things started. So let's clear these guys out. And that UHC, yeah, it was a couple of guys who I didn't really know very well. And so it was just kind of like starting to get to know during the UHC. And then episode 2, BTC ended up stumbling upon Paws's team, and our season ended quickly. And so it was not the best season from my point of view for that reason, as well as, okay, I think we're reasonably safe over here. Are we going to get super lucky and find an enchanted golden apple? It's a golden apple, but it's not an enchanted golden apple. Smite 4, don't really need. Name tags I'll take. The coal I'll take. The rest of this stuff, I could probably use an extra saddle. The rest of this stuff is all renewable stuff that I have at home. I guess the gunpowder is not so renewable, and I don't have looting on this sword, but if we kill a bunch of creepers, it could be good. And that was also at a time, that previous UHC was at a time where I had kind of gotten tired or bored of UHC. If you go back a couple of years ago, like, I was playing a lot of UHC matches with the ultra hardcore subreddits and occasionally another group of friends or 2. And so I was big into it for a while, but I think I kind of burned myself out on it. And the last, up until UHC Season 23 that I was just in now, the last UHCs that I had played in were, there was a WMC, which was a recorded round that the folks on the Ultra Hardcore subreddit did, and then the Mindcrack UHC, which are both, kind of like more prestigious and recorded round kind of things, so you can watch everybody's perspective, and so it's, made for a YouTube and entertainment point of view. And I did both of those because I like making the YouTube and entertainment kind of point of view videos of that. But I was already, when I was kind of getting tired of UHC and wasn't too interested in it anymore. So the combination of being burned out on it and being teamed with guys I really didn't know, and just having an unlucky season where it ended very, very shortly and quickly for us, made that one turn out to be not super fun. In contrast, UHC Season 23 was super fun. And yeah, the way that I got invited was, I think, possibly the typical way, which is the Mindcrackers know a bunch of other guys, and so when they're looking for people to fill in, they will ping people on Skype and various social media and whatnot. And so I got a message from Kurt saying, would you possibly be available to participate in UHC? And he's actually had asked me before, once or twice over the last couple of years, and I said, no, I'm not interested, because I was just burned out on UHC. But when he asked me this time, I was like, And so I replied back, and I was like, is it 1.9? And he said, yes. And then I said, okay, I'm interested, and I happen to have the time. I'd just eaten dinner. And he was like, okay, I'll let you know. And about 10 minutes later, he comes back, and he's like, yes, we need you. And I was like, okay, here we go. And the reason that 1.9 was such a turning point for me was I was thinking about it, and do I need iron or anything? I don't know that I really do, but I'm going to mine up a little bit of iron just for the heck of it. I was figuring the Minecrackers don't play as much Minecraft as they have recently as they used to. And 1.9 is pretty new and big change of combat mechanics. And so I was thinking to myself, it'll probably be much more PvE and a lot of people dying to skeletons and creepers and whatnot, as opposed to PvP. And PvE is the thing that I kind of like the most in this game, just what we're doing now, like caving and fighting the mobs. I'm like extremely overgeared now, and so this is going to be not challenging, but that is good from the point of view of I don't really want it to be challenging. I just want to talk to you all and have some good Minecraft as a backdrop. And so I was like, okay, I could play, I can enjoy the PvE, which I'll probably be good at. And so I'll be able to last a little while, have some fun, and so yeah, I decided to say, yeah, I was up for it, and I was glad that Kurt invited me. And this time I got teamed up randomly with folks that I did know, Chad and Beef. I have met them in real life. I have been on the podcast few times, the Mindcrack podcast. Chad is now the host, and so I'd actually contacted him when I was trying to get on the most recent podcast that he was there for, and in the previous podcasts that I've been on, I think Beef was on one or both of those, and I also met Beef at Minecon a couple years ago, who's a nice guy. And so that was already kind of off to a better start for that one, just in terms of being more comfortable being with people that you know, because it's easier to just kind of have, I don't know, instant rapport on camera or whatever, and be able to communicate with them in terms of strategic stuff for teams and whatnot. But at the same time, and I joked about this on Twitter, when I was kind of introducing the first episode, I said, I get teamed up with two headless chickens, which if you don't know, I guess it wasn't that long ago, right? That both Beef, Chad, and Good, as well as Zisto, were different sets of Minecrackers who were playing Ragecraft 2, which was a Minecraft CTM map for 1.8. And both of them were playing. They have somewhat different play styles. And so Zisto, was going through the map and hardly dying at all. And Chad, Beef, and Good are going through the map and taking a lot of deaths. And so Zisto would refer to them as the headless chickens. And overall, I'm a big fan of Zisto. He's probably my favorite person to watch on YouTube. And so I'm definitely kind of in his corner or whatever. And I also enjoy, I don't know, ragging on people or being critical of people who I feel aren't employing good tactics or sound strategies or different things. And so I enjoyed them being labeled the headless chickens. And of the three on that team, Good, Paws, and Chad, who were playing the CTM map together, Good, I feel was the only somewhat competent one of the bunch. They've been getting better, obviously. That was a big, long map, and so you kind of get better with practice. But Chad especially, because I feel like he kind of like started out collabing with those guys and was not good at Minecraft at all, but has improved a bit. But yes, in terms of just kind of like overall strategicness or whatever, Good is the only one I felt of that group who had a head on his shoulders. And so I was happy to be teamed up with folks that I knew and I thought I would, you know, get along with just fine right off the bat. But I was worried about the fact that I wasn't sure that they were going to be competent players in this UHC. They did turn out to be quite competent players and fine companions throughout most of it. And so I was happy for that. But yeah, I was still kind of making jokes at their expense at the beginning in that regard. And yeah, I think we're all, I don't know, friendly enough that one can do that. Make jokes at the expense of others. And let's see. So yeah, started playing the UHC, and if you haven't watched it, there's going to be, you know, spoilers ahead. But it, from the beginning, kind of went the way I was expecting in terms of like PvE. Like there were some PvE deaths, and meanwhile, me and our whole team really wasn't taking damage to PvE. There's always a big amount of luck that goes into ultra hardcore in Minecraft, because, you know, if you happen to be unlucky and encounter, you know, a witch, or the first cave you run into before you've got any armor, like you run into 3 skeletons, like it'll be bad news. Our team had good luck at the beginning. We managed to spawn near a village, and that gave us some initial iron armor before we even had to go caving. And when we did go caving, we managed to find diamonds, and so we managed to get enchanted. And so those are 2... Oh, here's another dungeon. Awesome. Hello, skeletons. Pardon me while I light up your dungeon so that no more of you spawn. And then 2 of you... Okay, which 2 were fighting? Those 2. No, these 2. Who's fighting? That was weird. Oh, crap. Did you see that? It looks like I just glitched into the wall or something. The whole screen went black there. I hope that got on camera. I want to try to watch that back and see what happened. Is there a chest in here? There is a chest in here. I forgot to mark... What was the other dungeon? It was a zombie dungeon, right? I forgot to take down the coordinates of the other one. Alright, F3, F2. And in here... another saddle and a name tag. Let me take a moment to set down the ender chest and organize some inventory, and then I'll be back with you. Alright, I dumped some things I don't need off in this chest, and I put some things away in this chest. I have the silk touch pick, so we can pick back up the ender chest, and we can continue. But in any case, as I was saying, we got off to a lucky start in that UHC, and then even after we found diamonds and got enchanted, something else lucky happened, which is... I don't know if you guys can see the skeletons back there, but once I light them on fire, you ought to be able to. There are skeletons back there. Ha-ha! Take that, skeleton. That's what you get. I was saying, I don't remember when it was, to whom it was, but I was saying I still get as much enjoyment from killing skeletons in this game as I did like 5 years ago. I really enjoy killing the bad guys in this game. Alright, so yeah, we got super lucky with some of the initial caves and enchants, and then we found a skeleton dungeon. And so that comes to what was kind of like the first potentially controversial strategic decision, which was when you find a skeleton dungeon in UHC, do you farm it for experience and bow drops and arrows, or do you destroy it and move on? And we ended up destroying it and moving on because there was already enough string in the chests for us to construct bows. It's definitely super important to have bows. But let me talk about how I feel about that. I think I hear a spider. There might be multiple spiders. If there are multiple spiders, I definitely want to find them. It sounds like they're right over here. I just want to make sure there isn't like a spider dungeon or something over here. Because multiple spiders is somewhat unusual. 'Cause 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 multiple spiders is somewhat unusual But I think it was just those two. Oh well. So I should mention that throughout the UHC, for whatever reason, probably from me being completely out of practice, I just completely forgot about the whole mechanic of using an anvil to, repair two pieces of armor together into a better piece of armor. Like, you get caught up in the heat of things, you get swept up when you're not expecting to do anything along these lines, and all of a sudden you're thrown into the mix. Didn't have any mental preparedness for it, and so it just escaped my mind that was the thing you could do. And so that is the only thing that possibly would have made me reconsider my decision, is basically being able to get more bows so that we could repair more bows together to try to upgrade from power 1 to power 2 to power 3 kind of bows. But I was glad that, I think it was Beef, but I don't remember, that someone else on my team basically suggested that we just destroy the spawner and move on, because I was adamant that I did not want to sit and farm the spawner from the perspective of we are not just playing to win, which admittedly I am very competitive and I do like to play to win, but I'm also very cognizant of the fact that we are making YouTube videos for entertainment, and I have watched I've watched a lot of UHC in the past. And so I feel like I do have a good sense for what makes entertaining video, and building a skeleton grinder and then farming it does not make entertaining video, in my opinion. And perhaps if you're better at just kind of like hanging out and cracking jokes and that kind of stuff, maybe you could still make that kind of video entertaining, although it's usually the case that like one person kind of like ends up building the skeleton grinder while the other two people are still out caving or doing whatever, and so it's kind of like harder to talk to them because they're busy fighting skeletons and whatnot. I don't think I really need gold for anything. So admittedly, it also maybe like doesn't play to my strengths. Like I wanted to do more caving, I wanted to get into some battles, rather than build a spawner and stand around and talk. But I do think that it is not good video farm equipment like that in UHC, and so I really didn't want to do it, and so I was glad that my teammates were also of the mind that we could just break it and move on. And yeah, and I pointed out at that point that given the fact that we had lucked into early iron and had already gotten enchanted, I was relatively confident that we were outgearing the other teams, and so we were already kind of like in a winning position. And in poker, when you're kind of like the big money leader at the table, what you need to do is throw your weight around and bully the table, and I felt like it was the same kind of thing in UHC. It was like, okay, we've got the best gear, let's go out and find some teams and start wreaking some havoc, because that will be fun and interesting. And yeah, and so we moved on and went to the center, and I don't know, if you guys haven't watched episode 4 and 5, you should definitely watch those episodes, because it was definitely one of the most exciting and action-packed and crazy fighting UHCs. I guess episode 5, I think, was the, deadliest. Mindcrack has done 23 seasons of UHC, and it was like the deadliest single episode they've ever had in terms of all of the battles that went on. And I mean, it started out with 6 teams, and even after 5 episodes, like, there's still 4 teams left. Or 3 teams left? 4 teams left? I can't remember now. And that's all that's aired at the time that I'm recording this. Probably more of it has aired by the time this video is actually going to go up. But I won't talk anymore past that, because I haven't decided exactly what my video airing schedule is going to be. So overall, I ended up having a lot of fun. You definitely have more fun when you and your team does well. Oh, hey, diamonds. Hooray. And I believe I have the Fortune 3 pick on me, and I could always use more diamonds, because they're always in relatively short supply. Although at this point, now that we've defeated like all the bosses that we need to defeat in different things, and I did not fall into the void with the Ender Dragon, and I did not lose my stuff underwater with the Guardians or anything, probably won't have that much trouble with diamonds for the rest of the series, but it's still good to get more. But yeah, in any case, I had fun with UHC. It's always, I don't know, an honor and a privilege, like, to get to play with those guys, because I think highly of a lot of them. And yeah, it turned out to be fun. It turned out to be more fun than I thought it was going to be. I enjoyed the 1.9 battle mechanics. There were definitely some things that I did wrong, that if I were to play again, I would know for next time. I do not expect to get back into UHC. I think it's still a thing, but if I play it, I will play it mostly in moderation, because overall, it's still the case that I think that Minecraft is not a very good PvP game. There's a lot of things about the game mechanics, and tons of bugs, as always, in the game. And then just the way that the game works in terms of frame rate and latency and all kinds of things that I think makes Minecraft suboptimal as a PvP game. But the fact that UHC is kind of like a cross of PvE and PvP and PvE, and I really enjoy the PvE part. And yeah, there's also kind of like a good, I don't know, build-up of tension during those episodes before all of a sudden there's a big release when you get into PvP battles. It makes for interesting and compelling video, and so occasionally I could see myself doing it, but it isn't something I'm going to get back into as gung-ho as I was a couple of years ago, is my expectation. And is there anything else to say about that right now? Perhaps not. And so, okay, I'm at the bottom of a ravine. Oh, crap! Yep! And that's why we have protection 4 diamond armor. Okay. Right, and I got these mending pants. I forgot about that. From the end city. Yeah, okay. Now that diamond armor has armor toughness, like, I just took 2 creeper blasts. One of them, I think, was point blank almost. Probably not point blank, because the damage is super exponential when you get really close to an explosion. So it probably was not, like, directly on my head, but was very close to being on my head. Okay, this is... But yes, Prot 4 diamond, and diamond now, especially after 1.9.2, when they added the armor toughness. Basically, what armor toughness does, it's the case in 1.9, if you don't know, that the harder you are getting hit, the more hearts of damage you would take. The more it cuts through armor in general. And so even though iron, in theory, like a full set of iron armor would reduce all damage by 60%, or most forms of damage anyway, by 60%, if something is going to hit you for like 10 hearts or 12 hearts of damage, something that hits very hard, the armor will reduce it by less than that 60%. Sometimes by a considerable margin. Armor toughness that diamond now has, and it's just peculiar to diamond. Each piece of diamond gives you 2 points of armor toughness. Basically, it makes it so that that reduction that comes from very hard-hitting blows is less. And so while iron might go from like 60% to 30%, it's probably not that much. Maybe like 60% down to 40%. If you are taking like 12 hearts of damage, diamond, which starts out at 80%, will just go from like 80% to 70%. When taking, I'm making these numbers up, but just to like give you an idea of approximately how it works. It's a very weird armor mechanic, but basically it makes diamond far more valuable, and it's also always been the case that the top end of your armor is much more valuable than the bottom end. It's one of the reasons that leather is so useless, because I forget what a full suit of leather armor currently gives you, but if it only reduces damage like 40% or something, and your typical like skeleton hit is, I don't know, like 2 hearts of damage on normal or something. I don't remember exactly what the current damage tables are or whatever. Reducing 40% from 2 hearts means you're still going to take 1 heart of damage. If you go up to iron armor, like up to 60%, it still means you're going to take around 1 heart of damage. But then going from 60% to 80% is a huge increase. It basically has just cut your damage in half. And if you could get, you know, like 80% up to 90%, like that would cut it in half again. And if you could get 90% up to 95%, that would cut it in half again. And so that's kind of like The math doesn't exactly work out, but you can kind of approximate that as what protection enchants are doing. And so yeah, near the top end, every extra percentage point of armor reduction, of damage reduction that your armor adds is a huge impact on how much damage you're going to take. And so the way that diamond works, the fact that it already gets you near the top end when you have a full suit of diamond armor, you're already reducing things by 80% even without any enchants. That plus putting protection on it and the armor toughness that diamond now has makes diamond way, way, way more valuable. And in future UHCs, if anyone could manage to get a piece of diamond gear, or a couple pieces of diamond armor, like, that could be a real game changer, I imagine, in PvP. But I don't know, again, enough about... just about all of my information is based on what I know about Minecraft and PvE. I know very little about PvP yet in this version of Minecraft. I feel like I've been rambling for a long time. I haven't even gotten to start talking about... Right, this is dead end. Vanilla Swirl CTM, which is the CTM maps for 1.9 that I have made, that I've actually started recording, me playing some of my own, which is good, because I really want to get more information about the map kind of out there on my channel and others' channels. And also, once I've actually played through it on my own channel, then I can make some videos where I talk about the design and programming of the map, which there's a lot of interesting things I could say about that, but I don't want to spoil the map, and so I want to wait until I've already played it on my own channel before I talk about all that stuff. So that's something I'm looking forward to doing in the future on the channel, but I feel like I've already been rambling too long in this episode, so let me go check on the episode time. Let me get myself safe somewhere here and just exit the game and check that out. I'll be right back. Yep, I've got enough footage for today already, and so I think we will cut off today's episode here. I did not get any items. Is it the first episode where I didn't get any items? Didn't get any items this episode. We did find 2 more dungeons. I'll have to go back and review just to double check. I think it was a skeleton dungeon and a zombie dungeon. So once we do make it back home, next episode, I will mark those in terms of our dungeon count, but we didn't manage to find the golden apple that I'm trying to find, and I also didn't manage to find an abandoned mine shaft, which is the thing I was really hoping to find, because they have a lot of chests, and so it'd be more opportunities to get that enchanted golden apple. I guess we did get a golden apple, just not the enchanted one that we need in our quest for everything. I hope, as always, that you guys are having a great day. I'm getting up nice and up close. I hope I managed to, my breath should be good, so hopefully you won't smell awful things coming out of my mouth when I'm up this close. This does not make any sense at all. I'm so rambly today. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I will see you again soon with more Minecraft exploration and tactics with Brian. Bye-bye.